21 past the hour. Yeah, that little piece of sound from Jan Crouch, who, dresses herself up. I mean, she has hair. I don't know. I don't quite get that hair. I realize it's a wig, but I don't know what the purpose is. And all of her diamonds and her drip and her jewel and her, all this stuff on her. And then, of course, her husband. I get the impression that Jan Crouch is a vampire and her husband is the victim, and he just walks around behind her and offers his neck every night. I mean, she looks very, very healthy. He looks very, very anemic. But, again, these are people who, in 1988, preempted their regular programming on Rosh Hashanah because they had a pre-recorded tape back then of instructions for those who'd been left behind by the rapture, because, the rapture was they were probably home, these two, counting their money, eating, peanut butter and fish sandwiches, and laughing about the whole thing. But this is from a different night. This is where this great Christian leader talks to the little housewives.
It's like it's always been the little women that caught the vision of giving, beginning with Jesus himself, out of their private means. Some of you little precious ones have that little grocery money, some of that little money set aside. Assure tonight the blessings of God on your family by giving it to God and speaking that. Say it. God, this is for blessings on my family. I love that.
Yeah, I bet you do. You sick, hypocritical scum, you. Oh, my God. Now, to be fair, as Adam Lee points out, when it comes to end-of-the-world hysteria, it's not just these sick devotees of the rapture and the Antichrist and all this other crap who've dropped the ball, so to speak. You probably remember last year, December 21st, there was a surge of excitement and dread among so-called New Age devotees, many of whom flocked to holy sites, well, sort of, all around the world in hopes of surviving whatever they believed was going to happen. Now, one of the favorite stories about the mountains of Bougarache in rural southern France. Pilgrims gathered there, and they believed that there were alien ships hiding out underneath the mountain. And these aliens were biding their time until Doomsday, when they would emerge and whisk people away from the planet. So, again, to be fair, crazy people exist everywhere. It's not just Christian crazies or fundamentalist Jew crazies or Muslim crazies or Hindu crazies. There are also crazies who make up their own religions, and it usually has to do with spaceships and comets and things that go bump in the night. And again, I would just scream into the darkness, what in the hell is wrong with you people? But that's just part of the human condition, I get. Now, Pat Robertson. One-time Republican presidential candidate, religious right media mogul, has repeatedly tried to predict the future. And as Adam Lee says, he has roughly the same accuracy as a dart-throwing monkey. I mean, this guy is just Jesus. In 1980, God, that long ago. Time just rips by when you're laughing at these half-wits, doesn't it? In 1980, Robertson predicted the start of World War III, telling his audience that God said the year 1980 would be, quote, full of sorrow and bloodshed that will have no end soon, for the world is being torn apart, and my kingdom shall rise from the ruins of it, end quote. That's what Pat Robertson said God had whispered in his ear while Pat was home eating his own peanut butter and fish sandwiches. But, of course, 1980 was the year that Ronald Reagan was elected. Go figure. In his 1991 book, The New World Order, Robertson forecast that U.S. Senator Jay Rockefeller would be elected president. In 1998, Robertson threatened that as punishment for flying rainbow flags over Disney World's annual Gay Days event, the city of Orlando would be struck by earthquakes and a meteor. Maybe a tornado, too. Nice guy, huh? In January 2006, Robertson predicted that the midtown elections would leave the Republicans in charge of Congress. That year turned out to be an historic Democratic sweep. You know, God likes to just pee in Robertson's ear. You know, Robertson thinks he's receiving wisdom. Actually, it's just a trickle of urine. You know, it's just amazing. Robertson, he's crazy. In May 2006, Robertson said that the coast would be struck by multiple destructive hurricanes. In fact, no hurricanes made landfall in the U.S. that entire year. In January 2007, Robertson predicted there would be a terrorist attack on American soil that year, probably nuclear, resulting in millions of dead. In October 2008, Robertson predicted a war between Israel and Iran before the end of the year. You know, it really has to be true that the Christian God, or the Abrahamic God, is a total jokester. Just a freak. Just a guy sitting around up in heaven one day says, I think I'm going to create a race of people and I'm going to divide them up all into these different religions, and I'm just going to drive them insane. And it's going to be such great fun. And then I'll commit suicide and the whole universe will implode.
If you put your faith in me, then he'll pass the tray while the choir's singing. Hear my God to thee. Step in the line. Can you spare a dime? I heard him say, step